that what BIM is, how its future is, and everything. So for that, we have Mr. Maharaj, who is our expert. He is a researcher in BIM and has been taking a lot of sessions with a lot of people across our platforms. And today he would give you an insight about BIM, and feel free to ask your questions as deemed fit. You can always raise your hands or write on the chat, and maybe at the end, there would be stipulated 5-10 minutes when you can ask your questions. Feel free. This is the best time when you'll get an understanding what BIM is, because a lot of people in the market, you would talk to them, they would tell that BIM is Revit, but BIM is not Revit. It's only Revit is only a part of BIM. So the problem with the larger crowd is that they have less idea of the BIM, because it's one of the more recent technologies that are being used in the construction. But trust me, it's one of the high performing, high caliber thing that people can choose as a career option and surely can excel. From here ahead, Miraj sir would take it up. He would surely give you an idea about what all things BIM has, and you are also requested to go ahead with us in this journey and ask your questions as you have. So with this, I'll hand over to myself, Vishwajit Shaw. I'm the co-founder of Protrainy. All right, Miraj sir, over to you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Vishwajit sir. So hi everyone. Firstly, let me share my screen, then we will start from there only. Okay. So very good evening, everyone. So my name is Merasalam Ansari. I am a civil engineer by profession and currently working as a BIM engineer and researcher. And apart from that, I'm also a BIM educator and software instructor. So basically, I help students and early professionals to start their career in BIM. I basically take all those people through everything whichever is needed for them to start their career, and whichever is happening in the market, whatever is important for the student to learn in BIM. I generally take student through all those things basically. Yeah. So why we are here today is basically we are going to start from very basic. We are going to start from very conventional thing, that whatever is happening in the overall industry, which we generally say construction industry, but I'll let you know what are those. Basically, it's not construction industry. It is something which is called AEC industry. Okay, and then later on, the main topic first, which is BIM. So basically, we are going to learn these things. We are going to discuss these things. We are going to get to know about all these things, what exactly BIM is, because there is a lot of misconception out there in the market, as Biswajit sir just said, that people generally say that it's software or on whatever. So we are going to know what exactly is it, so that from the next time if someone asks you what exactly BIM is, you will be able to tell them that this is something which is there and you are telling something wrong. Yeah. So then we are going to understand where we are using BIM and why there is importance of BIM. And finally, after knowing all these things, there is a question, okay, we know everything, what, where, why. So how to know, how to learn BIM. So that is something which we are going to cover all these things. So basically, this is the overview, complete overview that we are going to cover today. Okay. So basically, these are our target audience, or basically today we are having all those students only. So it's fine. Even if they are in pre-final year, final year. So it will be very best for them to know what exactly BIM is and what are the front end and back end process which are there. Okay. So basically, the overall this webinar will be a bit of faster because we have like 1 hour. But still, if you'll be focused, definitely there will be a lot of things that you're going to take in your pocket after this particular session. Okay. So yeah, one more thing. Definitely after going through overall this session, you will be having a lot of questions in your mind. And if you're having questions, definitely just write it down, or even you can write it down in the chat box as well. Or we will be taking all those questions at the end of this session, because we will take this session in more continuation. We will not interrupt in between. And whatever question you're having, we'll be taking all those questions at the end, and I'll answer all those questions. Okay. So yeah, we'll start from here only, that we all are civil engineers, and you must be feeling all these things, that somewhere here in India, that this civil engineering overall, this branch and discipline is somewhere degrading. Like people don't want to take admission in civil engineering. People don't want to like student don't want to be into civil engineering. They generally shift themselves from civil engineering to let's say IT, whether information technology and computer science engineering. So basically, have you ever given a thought like what is a basic reason of that? What is the main reason of that? The main reason which we why we are being degrading, like the civil engineering industry is degrading basically in the education sector, it's because we are just generally focusing on the conventional process. We are just keeping ourselves around only sand, cement and aggregate. So trust me, this is not the only thing that is there in the civil engineering industry. We also need to understand something which is in the front end, which is there in the front end. Please, I would request everyone who please mute yourself because it will interrupt the session. Definitely, we'll take your question at the end, whatever you are having. Okay. So yeah, so we were here like civil engineering. This is the main reason behind overall degradation. So basically, we are just focusing on the conventional process. Means conventional means students, whenever student are there in the college or even they have just graduated, they generally think that after doing their BTech, after doing their engineering, they are going to surround somewhere around sand, cement, aggregate, laborers, and all these things, working as a site engineer or execution engineer, right? So
I think so. There is a network issue. So kindly wait for 2-3 minutes. Expert will join again.
yeah, my bad, I got disconnected. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah. So I'll just share my screen again. It's visible, right? Just give me a confirmation. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So what we were discussing is basically after 5 to 10 years, there is a need of being digital. Either it is a civil engineering, mechanical engineering, or whatever engineering or whatever department you are associated with. So basically, we need to evolve. This is the main reason why we are more degrading. People need to be more on digital side. People need to learn all those information thing, all those important things which are really important for overall AEC industry, overall civil engineering industry to grow. Basically, that is the main reason. So let's understand from the basic thing. As I said, like I'm going to take you through from very basic thing, and then we will jump into what exactly BIM is and what are the requirements and why there is a need of BIM. So basically, if you say like what are the different kind of jobs which are there in the market, so you can simply distribute them into two things. One will be a field job, and another will be a office job, right? So what are those? So let's understand from here. Like basically field job, if you understand, I have not mentioned each and everything here, but I have taken the most important thing, which are the most general top jobs which are there in the industry. Okay, whenever you go to a company, they generally offer you these kind of jobs. So yeah, so when you are doing field job, so the very most popular job is site engineer. Everyone thinks about that. If you are doing civil engineering, you will be thinking, okay, I'll be a site engineer or something like that after 4 years, right? The second thing is QA and QC. QA QC is basically quality assurance and quality control. So this is somewhere you must have been reading in building material and construction, BMC, that quality control and all those lab tests and everything. This is something which is related to QA and QC. Okay, there is a lot of things, but generally those are the things that you are going to do in QA QC labs. Then we have safety, basically, which is related to all PPE, like personal protection equipment and everything. That is something which is related to safety department. So these are the basically general field jobs which are there after doing your graduation. Then after doing office jobs, like then after doing your graduation, there are office jobs available. So in office job, there are plenty of jobs available. You can consider BIM engineer, planning engineer, designer, then interior designer, architectural designer, structural engineer, and there are also other departments which are there. But there are like lots of job available for the people who are in office, for the people who want to be in the office, for the people who want to be digital. Okay, so basically these are the jobs. And if you'll talk about, so whenever you're talking about, let's say any kind of job, so basically you divide the overall work life balance. So that is something which is very important. So if you're doing field job, so there will be very less work life balance. Means you are going to work for let's say 12 to 14 hours every day. Just trust me, if you are going to be on the site, if the casting is being done, if the concrete is just mixed and you have a transit available on the site, then you can't just leave the site. You have to complete the casting process. You have to complete overall that concreting job, and then and after you can leave that particular site. So there is a lot of like issues and problems which are there on the site. I'm not telling this is bad. I'm just telling you whichever is good for you. I'm not just degrading anything. I'm just telling you that what are the things that you can generally take up, and you can simply choose them as a career. So then we have salary. So good salary, is there is a good salary? No, there is not good salary. If you are going to work as a civil engineer, you are going to work as a site engineer, then the salary will be varying from, let's say, people are also working as 8,000 per month, like we are working 7,000, 12,000, 15,000, like this is the salary generally they are getting. And I'm not just telling you any like without researching. This is a basic research that you can even go through all those things. You can also do all those things. Then we have career growth. Career growth is very less. Like when you are going to work as a site engineer, then after 5 years you are going to work as a senior site engineer or senior project engineer. Then you will, after 2 3 years, you will be something else. So basically if you want to be a project manager, then you have to spend around 10 years around, then and only you can be a project manager, or even 15 years as well. So career growth is very slow in being in field job. Then higher studies, obviously there are higher studies, but let's take an example of structural engineering. So there are a lot of like options available, but they are almost saturated. People are already there. For example, if you are talking about structural engineering, people are already there in the structural engineering. Like people are doing there, but there are less jobs available, but a lot of people are doing their masters in structural engineering. So there are opportunities, but those are very limited. So when we are talking about office job, then we have good work-life balance. Means I'm not talking that you are going to just work for 2 3 hours or 5 hours. No, it's not like that. You're going to work, but it will be like your work and life both will be balanced. Like you are going to work for, let's say, max to max, you are going to work for 10 12 10 hours. 12 hours is nothing. People are going to work for 8 hours or 9 hours. Basically these are the things that you are going to work. Then salary, if I'm talking about, I'm not telling that you're going to earn lakhs and lakhs. It's not like that. But yeah, definitely it is more than different domains which are there in civil engineering industry. If you are doing office job, basically the office job generally starts from, if you have good skill sets, definitely you can start from, like, say 15,000, 18,000, and even up to 25,000 as well. So these are the salary. Even if you have good skill sets, you can even get more being a fresher as well. So these are the scenario. Then if I'll talk about career growth is also there. If let's take an example of BIM. If you are a junior BIM modeler and you just started, and you can be a BRIM project manager after 5 years as well. You see the difference. In the field job you need 10 to 15 years, but in office job you can even be in 5 to 7 hours, plus 5 to 7 years basically. So there is more opportunity, more career growth there in office job. If we're talking about learning, then again the same thing as I said in field job is that in field job everything is becoming more saturated. Now here in office jobs there are a lot of other branches, there are a lot of other domains which are being introduced to the AC industry, so you will be having a lot of other opportunities to learn and grow. So basically this is the more advanced side of office jobs, right? So here it comes that I was talking about like the overall digital thing, right? So I'll give you an example. You all must be like in pre-final year or final year, so you will be there in LinkedIn, or even you're also searching for maybe jobs and internship. So while seeking all those jobs and internship and even career in like overall civil engineering industry, you must be saw us like all these things like what is BIM, and like people are posting a lot of about BIM, right? So BIM was something which was on the trending list on jobs and career opportunities in 2021. Why? Because in like 2020 and 21 we had this COVID. So because of COVID, everyone started working from home, and people were not able to go on site and work over there, right? So there is a reason of being digitalized. So you see, there is an advantage of being digital. So if you are working in somewhere in any of the digital industry, so you are having an advantage of work from home, and you're like people who were working on the site, they lost their job, but people who were working like in the office, they had their job even in the COVID as well, right? So you can see like the main advantage of being digital. And even not is this is the not only main advantage. There is a lot of things, but I'm just telling you that this is one of the advantage. Like people who were there in the BIM or office job, they didn't lost their job mostly. Okay, so let's understand from here. Now we know what is there, what are the different problems which are there, being a civil engineer, being a civil engineering student. So now here starts the thing. Like whenever you are talking about, for example, you must be knowing this, that when you are going to complete your civil engineering, if you're working as a site engineer, so site engineer doesn't know what is happening in the front end and back end. Front end and back end is basically like, for example, you are on site, you are helping the masons and laborers to start the construction and all those execution part, but you don't know what is happened on the back end process, from where all those drawings has arrived to you, and after doing whatever construction you are going to do, after that construction, what is going to happen. So basically people don't know what is happening in the front end, back end. So here it comes. Let's understand the basic overflow. Let's understand the basic overview basically. So what is happening? This is something which is called project life cycle. So you should know what project life cycle. Being a civil engineer, it is not only important to know how different construction, what is the like overall size of column should be there, what is rebar, what is like isolated footing, mat footing. Like this is not something which is important. This is there obviously, but you should also know what is happening in the overall project life cycle. So project life cycle is basically so let's understand from an example. What is human life cycle? Human life cycle is basically like you take birth, and then there is a childhood, then you have your teenager, you can become teenager, then you become adult, then you become old, and then you die, right? So there are different steps which are there. So those are different steps which combinedly creates your human life cycle, right? So basically in a project, similarly in a project, we have all those things. Means a project starts from a project starts, and there are different steps which are there, and combinedly all those steps creates a life cycle. That is something which is called building life cycle or project life cycle, right? So there are different steps. For example, how a project starts, someone dreams up for something, or there is a need of creating a project, there is a need of creating a building infrastructure, whatever it can be, right? So then after that dream, then that dream converts into concept by an architect or a concept designer. Then that architect creates architectural drawings, and then structural engineer creates a structural drawing, right? So basically, this is the general process which is happening in the industry, which is called the conventional process. Okay, means what people are generally using. So this is not a right case. So I'll tell you why. So for example, the architect will create an architectural drawing. He will share with the site engineer. The structural engineer will create structural drawings and he will share with the site engineer. So now what is happening? The site engineer, whatever he will be able to understand, he will implement all those things on site, and the overall construction will happen. So right. So basically, you see there is a gap between the different two peoples, the communication gap between different two people. So basically, the architect is not sharing his idea with the structural engineer, or they both are not coordinating with each other to see whether the architect have created whatever wall, the structural engineer have created something over there or not. Means they don't check for clashes, like if there is any clash between two different domains or not. So after doing the construction, what is happening? The let's say someone has dreamed for something else, and you will be able to do something else. Means whatever was required was not being delivered. So again, to have that particular delivery, whichever was required in the beginning, the people have to do the same thing again and again. People have to repeat things. People have to do different demolitions and again construct the same thing. So what is happening basically? People are doing rework. Because of rework, there is a like increase in time, there is an increase in overall cost, there is an increase in overall manpower, machinery, and everything whichever is required as a resource in the overall project, right? So why? So here comes the BIM concept. So to remove all those problems, to remove all those problems and give them some solutions, here is a term which is there in the industry, which has been introduced to the industry. That is something which is called BIM, which stands for Building Information Modeling. Okay. So people will tell you different like definitions. Even you will get different dimension like this particular definitions on internet as well. So today I'm not going to give you an official definitions. I'm just giving you a idea what exactly BIM is there. So from a very basic words, I'm just telling you in a very layman language that what exactly BIM is. Okay. So let's understand from here. So building information modeling, like BIM stands for building information modeling. So building information modeling is a process of AEC industry. AEC stands for architectural, engineering, and construction. So it is a process of AEC industry in which we create a 3D intelligent model. You all must be knowing what 3D model is. Basically, anything which is having X, Y, and Z coordinate combinedly creates a 3D model or 3D element, right? So basically, what is building information modeling? Building information modeling is a 3D intelligent model process in which we create a 3D model, and after creating that 3D model, we extract information from there, and after extracting all those information can be documents in terms of sheet like drawings, it can be schedule, it can be quantity estimation, quantity takeoff, it can be anything whichever is required for the construction or further overall development of building, right? So basically it's a process in which we create a 3D model which is called 3D intelligent model, and from that 3D intelligent model we extract information, and after extracting all those information we put all those information, we use all those information on the site, and we do real construction or real time usage. So basically those information can be used in the construction, in the planning, in the redevelopment of the project. Okay, so if you have not understood this, still I'll tell you with more like easy way. Let's understand from this particular image. Okay, so you see there are two images, one is on the left side and one is on the right side. So the image on the left side shows a real world building which is there on the site itself, right? So real building is there, actual building. So here on the right side, this is something which is called building information model. Okay, what I was talking about the 3D model, this is something which is called building information modeling. So there is a difference between modeling and model. Modeling is basically an action and model is basically an object. Okay, so here on the very right side, what is exactly BIM modeling? So what we do before doing the actual construction, we create the same building, we construct the same building in a virtual environment, right? So before doing the actual construction, we construct the same building in the virtual environment. We check different possibilities which can happen wrong on the site. for example, two different columns and beams are clashing with each other, if that will happen on the site, it will cost us extra rupees, extra means extra cost, extra time, and other things, right? So we remove each and every possible issues in the model itself, and once the model is completely clash free, problem free, then and only we will extract information in terms of drawings, in terms of quantity, like quantity, schedules, and costing, everything whatever is required over the site we extract after the overall model is clash free. Okay, and then after extracting all those information, we do like the overall project execution, and we construct the complete building. So this is basically the overall idea of building information modeling. Okay, so I hope you all understood. Even if you have not understood, just let me know at the end of this session, like if you have any issues, any doubt in this particular overall definition. Okay, so basically, if I tell you that what exactly the usage of BIM is, basically, firstly, gather means different stakeholders are basically different people who are involved in the overall project. Basically, they can be architect, they can be structural engineer, they can be planning engineer, they can be site engineer, they can be owner, they can be the people who are in the contract, that can be contractor. So basically, these are the people who are called the stakeholders. Okay, so gather means like gathering information from different peoples. The architect will give some architectural drawing, the structural engineer will give some structural drawing, the MEP people, the mechanical, electrical, plumbing people will give some plumbing drawing. So everyone is giving their own inputs, and after gathering all those input, we create a 3D intelligent model, which is called building information model, right? So that comes under generate. So firstly we'll gather all those information, and after gathering the information, we generate a BIM model. After generating the BIM model, we do the analysis, means whether this particular building is having any information, any clash, any issues or not. We will analyze. And after analyzing, if we are like confirmed, if we are sure that there is no issue on the site which can go wrong, there is no issue on the BIM model which can go wrong on the site, because that will cost us extra, right? So if we are sure that nothing is wrong in the BIM model, then we can communicate in terms of documents, drawings, and everything. And then after communicating, we can realize whatever we have created, whatever BIM model we have created, whatever thing we have virtually constructed, that is being constructed on the site, which I just show you in this particular image, right? So on the right side, this is a BIM model which is virtually constructed, or on the left, it is something which is actually constructed. So I hope this has been cleared, like what exactly BIM is. So basically, BIM is not a software, BIM is not a Revit. BIM is basically a process of the AEC industry in which we create 3D model. After creating the 3D model, we extract information and use in overall BIM lifecycle, like overall project lifecycle, which are there. Okay, so I hope it's clear. So here are the few things that are there which you need to know. Like you must be, you all must know like what is 3D. So basically, we have heard about 3D only, and we have not heard about 4D, 5D, 60, and 70. Because 2D is basically X and Y, and 3D is something X, Y, Z coordinates, right? Combining all these things, any element which has been created with that. So 3D is basically, which we have just understood, this is building information model, right? So that is something which is related to 3D. And what is 4D? 4D is basically 3D plus time, means okay, I'll just go through each and everything. Firstly, understood what are those things. So 3D is basically that BIM model. 4D is something which is called 3D plus time, means whatever we are creating in the BIM model, there is a time associated with that. Okay, and there is 5D. 5D is basically 4D plus cost, means whatever we are creating, that is having some time, plus there is a cost which is associated with that element. I'll explain with taking an example, but as of now, just understood 4D is time and 5D is 4D plus cost. What is 60? 60 is basically like overall energy analysis. So basically, you must be knowing, like we have studied in maybe 9th or 10th class, that whenever there is a sunlight which enters into a glass medium, it got trapped in that particular medium, right? So it won't be able to go out of that particular medium, that glass medium, right? So basically, this is happening in the overall construction industry as well, or the buildings as well. For example, there is a let's say 40 story building is there, And when a sunlight enters into that particular building, and that particular building is having a facade of glass, so when sunlight enters into that particular building, it won't be able to go out. So ultimately what will happen, it will increase the overall temperature of the building, inside temperature of the building, right, which is called interior temperature. So it will increase the temperature, and after the temperature has been increased, people have to decrease the temperature, right, so that the people can live over there in the building itself. So to decrease, we need air conditioning, we need cooling system. So to use cooling system, we need electricity. And to have the electricity, what we are having, we have to generate electricity by using different renewable and non-renewable natural resources, or other resources, right? So basically what we are doing at the end, we are using the natural resources and the resources. So we are simply exploiting all those resources available. So what is happening, if we will design our building in a much more sustainable way, then we can even decrease all those usage of natural resources, and we can simply do sustainable design. So this is something which is considered in 60. Okay, then there is 70. So 70 is basically, let's understand with an example. This is something which is called facility management. This is more of a maintenance and operation side of a building. For example, there is a building, let's understand Al Burj Khalifa. Okay, that is a skyscraper. So basically, what if, let's understand from different example, not go in that particular thing, you will get confused otherwise. For example, this is something which is related to the maintenance side of a building. You have a home, right? So in that house, in that complete house, you are having electrical switches, right? So what kind of electrical switches is there? For example, there is a company Anchor which creates electrical switches and electrical appliances, right? So what happens, by creating 3D model, we upgrade that 3D model up to that limit, so that every single information about a building is being incorporated in that particular model itself, so that in future, if that particular Anchor switch is having any expiry, is having any let's say guarantee or warranty, so it will tell you that okay, after 15 days, after 1 year, you are having this expiry date of this particular switch, so that you should be cautious to change that particular thing. So everything is something which is related to the overall operation and maintenance of the building, so we upgrade the overall building as per the as built data of the building, so that in future, if it is required, so I'm just giving it a small example, right? If it is happening in, let's say, Al Burj Khalifa, then what will happen? You don't go each and every switch and open it and check, okay, this is Anchor company, and then you will go to any vendor and then you can buy it and then you can change it, right? This is not happening. So to make it automation, to make it automated task, generally we create a 3D model and we upgrade it as per the real world data. Whatever is there in the building, whatever is the as built condition, we upgrade the model, and so that in after 10 years, if it is required to change something, if you're required to do any maintenance, you don't have to go to each and every particular place and check it. You can simply check in a 3D model and you can see, okay, this kind of appliance has been installed in that particular place. So you can simply go to any vendor. You won't be going to any vendor, but simply you can change it. So this is an automated task. So basically this is something which is related to 70. Okay, now coming to again 45D, which is very, very important aspect of BIM. So as I said, like 3D is something which is related to building information model, right? So let's understand with an example. For example, on site, there is a column which need to be casted. So in BIM model, we have virtually constructed that column. But what in 4D? So if we have included a time, sorry, if we have included a time, for example, that column is going to be casted on this particular date. So we have associated a time information, a time parameter with that element. So this is something which is called 4D, in which we calculate the time, we do the scheduling part. Again, in 5D, what happens? 4D plus cost. So for example, that column is going to be casted on, let's say, 7th of March, and that column will cost you around 25,000 rupees. So ultimately what you are doing, you are creating a 3D model, then you are associating a time parameter, then you are also calculating the cost as well. So this is something which is combinedly called 5D model. So these are basically the dimensions of BIM: 3D, 4D, 5D, 6D, and 7D. So these are the things that you are going to work on whenever you are dealing with building information modeling, right? Okay, here is the thing, which is something which is called level of BIM. Okay, so it depends on these things that I just explained: 3D, 4D, 5D, 6D, and 7D. So for example, here are different levels, like level 0, level 1, level 2, and level 3. So what is level 0? Level 0 is basically not a part of BIM. Like people are just working in CAD, like they are just drafting 2D drawings only. So that is something which is considered in level 0. Okay. So people who are working in AutoCAD, just in AutoCAD, they are something which they are not doing BIM. They are simply just working in CAD and they are under level 0. Then again, we have level 1, which says partial collaboration or 2D and 3D. So people who are using 2D and creating 3D models from those 2D drawings. So basically, this is something which is considered as level 1. Okay, then we have level 2, in which we have 4D and 5D. What was 4D? 4D was something 3D plus time, and 5D was 4D plus cost. So basically, if people are working in 2D, 3D, 4D, 5D, so this is something which is considered as level 2. Okay, so it actually, in countries to countries, like people are using all these 4D, 5D, 6D, 7D, all these levels, all these dimensions of BIM as per their requirement, as per their overall project budget cost. So countries to countries, it differs. Like some countries are using only level 1, some people are using only level 0, some countries are using level 2, right? So here comes level 3. Level 3 is basically, it's not into consideration. I would not say consideration. It is not into the actual usage. It is a concept as of now. People have started, exploring this. This is something which is called Open BIM or iBIM, which is called integrated BIM. So if you are using 6D, 7D, 8, like 8D is also there. I have not considered, but consider up to 6D and 7D. So if people are doing work, you considering 60 and 70 as well, so that is something which is considered in level 3. So you know that where India is on level 1. Like India, like people here in India are working only in 2D and 3D. So here you can see, from here only you can see that why there is a requirement of learning BIM, why there is a requirement of being digitalized, you know. So everything is dependent on you, like who you people are going to work in this industry. You people should know what is required, what is important, what is not. Okay, so these are something which is called level of BIM: level 0, level 1, level 2, level 3. It is dependent on the requirement and usage of different dimensions of BIM in the overall country or region or continent, you can say. Okay, as of now there is like couple of places, and UK is one of the place. UK is one of the location where people are using level 2. Otherwise everyone, like US is also, some part of people are using level 2, but here in India people are using level 1 only. Like there are only 4 to 5 projects here in India like which are using BIM, but again and again some people are using 2D, like 2D, 3D, some people are using 4D, some people are using 5D. So there is only couple of projects which are using BIM in here in India. So we discussed what exactly BIM is. Now there is a requirement of understanding why BIM. Why there is a requirement of BIM? Because even before like BIM, there was also construction happening. There was also the overall industry which was there. So why there is a need of learning BIM? Why there is a requirement of proceeding with BIM? So let's understand some facts. These are the facts from the Hindu, that is a newspaper. Okay, so India is expected to have around 1.4 billion of population by 2025. So it is 2021 already, it is going to end. So we have around 4 years, right? So after 4 years, India is going to surpass China in terms of populations, basically, right? So there will be a usage, there will be a need of more food, housing, public transport, infrastructure, buildings, and everything, right? So to do that, whatever India is using, whatever process, whatever overall conventional process India is using, that is not going to help us to create all those required like housing, public transport, and all those infrastructure within 4 years. So it is very important for us to being digitalized. It is very important for us to adopt BIM to decrease the overall cost, decrease the overall time, decrease the overall repetitive task and everything, right? So this is a fact. You need to understand that why it is important. Then it is also Autodesk is a company. Autodesk is a company which creates different products, which is helpful in the overall AEC industry. So it also says that India needs BIM. India needs to adopt BIM to create things, to construct things faster and more efficiently. Because as I said, in the conventional process, people are just doing repetitive things, and doing the repetitive things, there is a lot of increase in the overall project cost, project budget, and everything, right? So we won't be able to do things much earlier as per our requirements. So there is a need of being digitalized. There is a need of learning BIM. There's also some more things which says after using BIM, you can also decrease the overall project life cycle up to 50%, which means it saves time. It's also says the greenhouse gas emission up to 50% can also be decreased because if you don't know that concrete and construction industry is something which is the second place, which is giving us most of the greenhouse gases, CO2. If you are using concrete, then concrete is emitting a lot of CO2 gas. So you must know this, like being a civil engineer. So we can also decrease the overall greenhouse gas emission up to 50% because we are going to do the design. Basically, we are going to do the sustainable design using BIM. So that will ultimately reduce the overall gas emission as well. So overall time, cost, and everything will be decreased definitely. So these are the fact which is very important for you to know. There is a other like implementation fact as well. Like there are countries, Germany and USA, they were on 37% and 28% usage in 2013, but now within just 2 years it has been decreased from 37 to 72, 28 to 66%. This is the usage, this is the implementation of BIM, degree of implementation of BIM that the countries are following, that the countries are adopting these days. So you can understand that why there is a requirement that the overall country, overall all the globe, like people are implementing all those things, and why we are not. So you can understand why we are in the very back end process, why we are in the like overall, in the overall process, why we are delaying ourselves. So here are some also facts which says like Autodesk Revit. This is something which says like which software is very important to create BIM models. So Autodesk Revit is the most important and mostly used software which has been used by the overall industry. Okay, so we understood all these things as a fact, but now as a student, as you all are students, so you must know that why there is a need of choosing BIM. As I have considered few points in the beginning itself, but let's start. So the first point is that it is a white collar job. You are going to work in an office, you're going to have a good work life balance and everything, which says quality life. So being on site, you will be having very harsh conditions as well. I'm not just telling you don't go for that, but I'm just telling you that if you are having good skill set, why not to go for something which give you a good quality of life. Then again, the high paying job, it is high paying as compared to other domains, other disciplines of civil engineering. Vast career options again, so whatever I told you in the very beginning of the session, right? So these are very important for you, because every time when you choose a career, you should choose all these things, you should put all these things in those points while choosing any career in civil engineering or any kind of engineering or discipline you are into, right? So here are the things like people student generally says like what are the different job roles which are there in the overall BIM. So if you are starting your career in BIM, then you can simply start from BIM intern. So you can even do in your final year, you can even do in your pre-final year as well. If you have good skill sets, I'll tell you how to go with that, but as of now just understand that what are the different career options available. So BIM intern, you can do even after pre-final or final year. You can become a junior BIM modeler after internship, once you have completed an internship, or even you can go directly after taking a course, or you can simply learning all those skill sets. You can be within 6 months to 1 year, you can be a BIM modeler. Then again, BIM architect, BIM engineer, you can be within 1 to 2 years. And then you can be a facade designer, you can be a BIM coordinator within 2 to 3 years. These are very good posts, good designation. See, you can become a BIM manager in within just 4 to 6 years if you have proper skill sets, right? So this all these growth, whatever duration I'm telling you, this depends on your efforts, your skills and performance. So the more efforts and performance you will provide to the company or wherever you're going to work, it will take very less time you to grow from being a BIM intern to BIM consultant. You can become like a BIM consultant within just like 5 to 7 years, 3 to 7 years as well, right? So these are the things that you can start, and you can see like what are the things that are there that you can choose, right? So obviously you doesn't just jump on, you always start from 0 and then goes to 100. You don't start from 50 and 99 then 100. It's not like that. You always start from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Like there are steps available. So always just start from very beginning, and then you can simply go to different steps. So it depends on your skill sets and your knowledge and efforts that you can jump from one step to another step. The time duration which it takes, that can be decreased by your skill set and your efforts, but obviously the steps will be similar that you everyone has to go through, right? So here are the things that what you can become. Even like you can become a facade designer, computational designer, landscape designer. Yeah, these are the things that are other than all those things whichever I just tell you. So basically these are the facade designer. Facade is basically the front part of the building, which is the glass part, which can be even which is more on the aesthetic side. So that is something which is called the facade. So facade designer. Computational design, you can be someone who is good in programming languages, Python. They can become computational designer. People are also doing coding, like civil engineers are also doing coding, and they are doing very good in the AEC industry. So it's not like that the computer science engineer have to do keyword coding and the civil engineer can't learn the coding. So they also learn coding. They also start with computational designing. And people who are more into the architectural side, they know how to create contours, they know how to create terrains, they can become the landscape designer as well. AR VR is also there. The virtual reality, you can also be a AR VR specialist. As I said, like 4D 5D, this is also something which you can consider after knowing the complete 4D and 5D, means that scheduling, planning, and the overall costing estimation. So you can be also a 4D 5D specialist as well, right? So these are the careers which are there in the overall BIM. So now we understood what BIM is and why BIM. So let's understand where there is a usage of BIM, right? So basically, BIM is a process, as I said in the very beginning. Sorry. So BIM is a process that I said in the very beginning, that BIM is a process in which we create a 3D model, and then we extract information, and then we use that on different like phase of the project life cycle, right? So as it is a process, so wherever there is a construction which is happening, we can use BIM, right? So basically there are two things. One is the buildings, one is the infrastructure. So basically in buildings we have residential projects, commercial projects, we have institutional facilities, which is also called the educational facilities, school, colleges, universities, all those comes into it. So we have infrastructure. It can be roads, it can be it can be bridges, it can be redevelopment of roads, it can be terrains and landscape, all these things. So wherever there is a construction happening, wherever there is a need of construction, we can use them there, right? So you can understand that there is a lot of broad scope of being into the overall BIM industry, right? So this is the place, this is the overall thing that where the BIM can be implemented, right? So now here is the question, that how BIM, how you can learn BIM, how you can implement BIM, what, like as we understood the overall what is BIM, how to BIM, like why and where, right? Now there's a question of how. So basically being a student, now I'll tell you, like being a student, being an early graduate, how you can learn BIM. So basically it's not a rocket science. It's basically you need to learn with steps, and definitely you can be a better professional. So firstly, as I said, it is a virtual construction that is going to happen in the BIM, right? So you need to know the overall construction process, construction sequence. For example, if I'll tell you in general, so how a project, how a building being constructed. So it's basically like that. Firstly, you create the substructure in which all those foundation is there. Then we have plinth, then we have superstructure in which everything which is above the plinth is there, right? So basically substructure, then plinth, then superstructure, right? This is the basic construction sequencing which is there. So basically you need to understand the overall construction process which is happening, and as I said, you project life cycle. You also need to understand the overall life cycle as well, like how a project starts, what are the different steps which are there that you will be a part of, and then what is the last process which is there. So completely you need to understand the overall life cycle as well. Then after knowing all these things, you can learn software. Basically, see, if we are going to create 3D intelligent model, that is going to happen only in a softwares only, right? So that is something which is called BIM modeling software. So you need to learn all those software professionally. See, why I specifically I have written professionally, because students generally learn the software but they don't know how to use that. Basically, what is the actual usage? They generally say, sir, I know Revit, can I get job? So until and unless you are not going to learn it professionally, you are not going to get a job. Basically, you need to provide some value to the company or provide some value to the people who are for whom you are going to work, right? Until and unless you are not providing value to the company, they are not going to hire you, right? Because they are going to pay you. If you do something valuable, only then you are going to get paid. So otherwise, you are not going to get hired. So this is the very important point, that you have to learn softwares professionally, which is there in the industry usage. Then after learning this software, you can simply practice, and after practicing you can go for an internship where they will also provide you some stipend as well, and it can also be PPO, which is called pre-placement offer. So you can get that thing as well. So after doing the internship, you can simply do a job, or you can also be a self-employed. As I said, like BIM is office job is something in which you can also be your own boss as well. You can do freelancing. There are a lot of people who are doing freelancing and earning a good chunk of money. So basically, after knowing things professionally, after doing practice, after doing internships, you can simply start from a job or being a self-employed, right? So this is the process that everyone should follow. Everyone generally follow if they are doing good in their career in BIM, right? So as I said, software is very important. So there is a lot of software which are there in the market. Like people is saying, okay, learn this 20 software, and after this 20 software you can learn you can just go into any of them, right? So this is not something I suggest. I suggest cheap and the best. Okay, so the very important thing is that you need to learn three kind of software. One is BIM modeling software, one is BIM coordination software, and one is visualization software. So basically, these are the three different softwares which are there. The first software is BIM modeling software, means in which you are going to create that virtual construction, in which we are doing virtual construction. You're going to create that particular BIM model, right? So that is something which in which we are using BIM modeling software. Then as I said, we are going to do, and we are going to do the analyze part as well, right? Whether that building is having any clash, any issue, any problem which can go on the site and create much more problem, right? So that was something which is called as BIM coordination. Later on, if you attend more sessions, or if you research more about BIM, then you will get to know that there's a term which is called BIM coordination. So BIM coordination software is something which is there that you should learn. Then the last software is that, as I said, like BIM is a process in which we create a model before constructing the actual building. So how that building is going to look like after doing the construction, that is something which we do in the visualization software. Means it, you can also say it's rendering software or visualization software, right? So what are those? So basically, here it is, like there are three software which I generally say. The BIM modeling software, Revit architecture, structure, MEP. So basically, Autodesk Revit is a software which is the market leader. You can learn it for BIM modeling. Then there is a software which is called as Naviswork. So Naviswork is a software which is used for BIM coordination. And the third software is Nscape, the most easiest having interface, the easiest interface and the most easiest software for visualization, and the best in the industry is Nscape. So these are the software that you should learn to get started. These are the very important basic but very important software that is there in the market, and people are learning it and doing really good. So these are the things that I generally say. This is the best, cheap, and like the bestest you will get in this particular software, right? So yeah, these were the things that being a fresher, being someone in college, being a student, you should know that what are the things that you can learn and proceed further in your career, right? So basically now is the question. So now I'll be taking all those questions of yours. Whatever question do you have regarding whatever
Excuse
we
me,
have
sir.
discussed? Yes.
Sir, is this a regular class to 8 to 9?
No, actually, this is a session, a specialized session which has been done for you all guys. So definitely, you're going to get like information about all these things from the operations, right?
Okay, sir.
So yeah, definitely, if
Okay,
you'll be
thank,
having more session, you'll get notified regarding this.
okay, thank you so much, sir.
Yeah. So definitely, if you have any questions, any one of you have any questions regarding whatever we have discussed regarding like what you are doing in college, like any question regarding your career, internships, and what you can choose, anything, you can ask me now. We will taking like 10-15 minutes to have those questions answered. You can write in comment like the chat box, and I'll take
Excuse me,
all those
sir.
questions.
One thing I want to ask to you.
Yes.
So is this when the offline mode is running at that moment, sir, we can get class of AutoCAD and something like design, ETAP,
Yeah,
something like that.
we have plenty of sessions available. Just a minute. Yeah, we have sessions available. We have a lot of course available. I think I'm not the right person regarding this. So you are going to get all this information. You can definitely ask to the Protrainy team. They are going to let you know each and everything whichever is required, because there is a lot of like sessions which are going on these days. So you can definitely ask regarding any course, anything, whichever is required for you, in which you are
Okay.
interested, basically, right?
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, sir, I understand.
So please write your questions. Whosoever is running questions, please write in the chat box. I'll take questions from there, and then I can answer all those questions, right? So let's take a couple of minutes, and we can do it from there only. Just a minute. Yeah. You can write in. Meanwhile, I'll take all those questions. Okay. Someone asked like, what are the connection between field job and higher studies? So see, to grow in your career, you need to be specialized. In the beginning of your career, you can be a generalized person that you know each and everything. Like you can say like something about everything. There is a quotation that something you know something about everything, and then later on you know everything about something, right? So to grow in your field, like later on in your career, after say 5 years, let's say 3 to 5 years, you need specialized things. So to do that, if you are having higher studies, if you are more specialized person, definitely you will be in demand. Like people will be talking about yourself. At that thing, that higher studies will help you, right? So that is something which is very connected with field job. In field job, people generally used to do management course if they want to be on some assistant manager position or project manager position. So by doing higher studies, they can also be like project management or even the construction management. They can do all those things. So that will help them to be managers basically in the future. So even after 2 years of experience, you can also be a project manager, assistant project manager as well if you have done higher studies. So basically that will help you to elevate whatever you are doing and what you will be doing. So basically that is the thing. Okay. Anyone is having any other questions? You can even ask by turning on like unmute yourself, and you can simply ask or any question. Someone asked, sir, if any student have to go to abroad, the university. Okay, yeah, university. See, basically, you need to understand what is your interest. Directly, don't go for any university and just take an admission. And after, let's say, couple of years, you are not much interested into, and then you say, okay, I just all those money went into vain. So this is not something you should do. Firstly, explore things. Firstly, try to explore different options which are available, because being a civil engineer you should explore some, let's say, field jobs and office jobs. See what is your interest, check what is your interest. Then if you think, okay, let's say project management is one of my interest, or let's say like concrete is one of my interest, then you can also see like design is one of my interest. So as per those, you can go for any courses available in any of the country which is there. There is a country like Germany is a place where you can get like free educations available. So there is no tuition fee there, so you can go for that. So firstly try to explore things, and once you are sure about something, once you know, okay, this is something which in which I enjoy learning and in which I think I will be doing things much in a much better way, so definitely you can go for that. So firstly, I'll tell you to suggest you to just explore things, right? Yeah, any other question? I think people are not having question. You guys are students, you should ask questions. If you're not asking questions means you are not interested in what we are doing. Am I audible, guys? Am I audible? Just a minute, guys. I'm getting interrupted in between. Yeah. So anyone is having questions regarding anything? Because now we will be ending our session. If you have any question, you can simply ask any doubt, anything, right? Okay. So I think you guys don't have any questions. So just I would say all the best for whatever you are doing and whatever you are going to choose in your career. And definitely we'll be in touch regarding all these things. Yes. Thank you. So regarding whatever you have any doubt, anything, or if you want to ask anything, if you want to have another session, definitely you can tell to Protrainy team. They will definitely help you out in that particular thing. Yes, please, please, sir. Go ahead, sir. Yeah, Ganesh, sir, you wanted to say something.
Hello.
Yes, please.
Audible, sir, from my
Yes,
side?
you are. Yes, yes.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I really want to thanks to Merasalam sir and Vishwajit sir to conduct the session. And really, there should be a awareness because students are not aware about the BIM, as we said, because BIM has a very vast area. When you call about AEC, that is the Architecture and Engineering Construction Department, as Sir has explained today, LIC concept, that is called the life cycle assessment, how you want to assess a building life cycle assessment. And moreover, today's in foreign countries, they are following this BIM with respect to EIA, so environmental impact assessment, because we are knowing that today's sustainability is the biggest challenge part for all civil engineers. Today, the price rate for petrol is also high, energy, when you go for solar energy. So how you design a building with energy auditing, there is a main impact where a number of researchers as well as a number of softwares, they are focusing on BIM models. So when you come to understand what is a BIM is all about, then you know the real picture. Right now in your mind, you know only what is a 3D structure, how to fix a camera, how to make a walkthrough inside a building, rendering. Only this much you are aware about it. But beyond that, what is BIM? How it is connecting a building sustainability model assessment, API technology, what is API technology, and a LEED certificate, how we need to go for energy auditing or environmental assessment. So these all things are wide area for civil engineers where awareness is very less for the students. A number of sessions, as Sir said, number of companies are working on BIM. But until or unless you are pushed inside the interest, so nobody can teach you this. So self-interest is high for BIM. And as Sir said, job opportunities are very, very much there. More jobs are there for BIM. It's not like working with AutoCAD. I know AutoCAD, I know Revit, but where you apply the software is the main challenge for you. So I really thanks for the students who have joined the sessions, and really you earned some knowledge today. And I also wish my team members, Merasalam sir and Vishwajit sir, to engage more students and to communicate more ideas, what is the BIM is all about. And that's what I want to say for my students as well. Thank you, sir, for giving the session.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. Keep learning. I would say this. Yeah.
Thank you everyone for joining the session. I hope it was helpful to every one of you. Goodbye and good night.